Welcome everyone to the Female Bodybuilding channel. JB, we're excited today, aren't we?
We are excited. Finally, we have her.
Finally, Christina Bryant, the ThePrettyLifta, correct?
Correct.
What a matching name for your Instagram to yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah. we tried to have you on for I think a year now.
Yes.
At least.
There's always something, but now finally we have you on.
Yes.
First of all, how is life for you right now? How are you feeling? We're in 2022. There's been a lot of weird things going on lately. How are you feeling? How's your energy? How's your life at the moment?
Life is amazing. I stay pretty busy. I'm a full-time student. I work full-time for the government, and also, bodybuilding is a full-time aspect too, from training to eating. Life's good. As long as I'm busy and keep going, it keeps me motivated, keep getting better.
So you work in the military or?
So I work for the government, actually, and I won't be able to say too much, but it's where I have to have like a top secret clearance type thing. Ooh, so wow. I started working here last September, actually, and I just started right before I did Tampa Pro.
Oh, really?
Omaha. Actually, right before Omaha. So, yeah.
Wow.
And what do you go to school as? What's your
healthcare administration. So the ultimate goal is to actually be a coordinator over the activities of the Veterans Hospital somewhere here in the United States.
So you go full-time job, student on the side?
A full-time student as well, online. So every class that I take, I'm currently taking at least 5 classes. So at work, at my desk, when I have downtime, I'm doing homework.
And you're building one of the best women's physique. Well, maybe another class, we will find out later. And you're building one of the best physique also. So you have 3 jobs then?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I don't think people understand. So the bodybuilding side of it, the discipline that I gained from that trickles over into everyday life. So it keeps me wanting to keep getting better, keeps me focused. It keeps me on point, especially with school. I have a set schedule. I have a calendar that I follow, and I try not to deviate from that at all.
Is this something your parents taught you, or is this something you have to discover your own, this epic work ethic?
Definitely something my parents instilled in me at a young age. But the older you get and the more that life happens, you see what's necessary for you to be able to reach a goal. So you do what you have to do to maintain that. Whether, for instance, for me, I get up every morning at 4:00. Even in the off season, I get up at 4:00 every day. Some nights I don't go to bed until 10, 11 o'clock. But I have to do that because I have goals I want to obtain.
So you wake up every day, no matter what time of the year it is, at 4:00 in the morning. Yes,
Saturdays and Sundays are the only days that I don't get up that early, but my body still wakes me up, so I have to force myself to, lay there and rest.
Well, and how long you been doing this?
Oh man, I want to say since I went pro. When you go pro, it's a totally different ball game. It's a totally different level. You're going against the best of the best in the world, so you want to be the best. You got to get up before some of the best do.
So before we go into what's going on with the bodybuilding in 2021 and 2022, talk to us. How did you fall in love with bodybuilding?
I fell in love with bodybuilding in 2017. I was not an athlete at all. I do want to make that clear with everybody. I actually was morbidly obese. I was 270 pounds. And my doctor, let me know your health is kind of declining at the age of 28, and you can either work out or you can be on medication for the rest of your life. So I decided to work out. And working out turned into...
We just want to stop you so people understand. So guys at home, she was 207. How tall are you?
5'1" and a half.
So you're a very short girl, and you were 270 pounds at age 28.
Oh my God.
Talk to us. Why do you think? Because that's a lot. How did you? Health wasn't How did you get to that number at that young age?
So I actually was in a relationship. I was married for about 3 years, and we were just going through our marriage debacle and problems, and I and our breaking point was our divorce. And, you know, emotional eating was something that caused me to gain weight. Every time I was sad, every time I was mad, every time we're happy or we celebrate as a family here in the South, we get together and we eat. And you don't realize it until you're standing there trying to try on clothes in a clothing room. You can't fit anything. Or you're in the doctor's office and they're literally telling you, you know, you're pre-diabetic. You know, you might want to back away from the table or start working out.
So when they told you that at age 20, and I'm Jamaican and Norwegian and he's German. So, but in America, we see there's a lot, especially in the South, there's a lot of people that have this problem, isn't it? With obesity or?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So, I'm an eyeball out here in my small town.
So what happened then when the doctor told you that? What went through your mind?
I was sad. I felt like I was at kind of like a breaking point, you know, when I looked at it this way. He cared enough to tell me you have two options. You can either take prescription medication or you can work out. And the working out was the one that stuck with me the most. You know, there's something that I could control.
Mm-hmm.
So
you know, you start thinking,
what steps did you do then? You were 28. He told you got to start. What happened?
So I was embarrassed to go into a gym, guys, for a long time. I wouldn't go into a gym for a whole year because I was afraid of what people would say, or I get stared at, or I would be in somebody's way who was actually, you know, serious in the gym. So I would walk the trail in our little town and I would do it every day. I reached a plateau. I got down to about 190 pounds.
How did you do that?
I literally Googled like macros and YouTube and everything, you know, to figure out how to lose weight. And, you know, YouTube will tell you everything if you see it research. I know. So I did that. I got to the plateau. Once I hit the plateau, I met a couple here in my hometown who at the time were bodybuilders. And they said, well, hey, come and work out with us. You know, you're always coming in our smoothie shop buying smoothies when you finish your workout. Try weightlifting. I did that and I fell in love.
This was in 2000. When was this?
This was around 2015. So I started from 2013 to 2015, just slowly getting the weight off. And I tell anybody, I've quit several times when it comes to working out. I've had those moments where, you know, Christina, you can't do this, or I would lay there and be lazy, you know, and I would always be in that same hamster wheel, not getting to where I was trying to go. And finally, I got tired and went over there and worked out with them, and it changed my life.
In what way?
It held me accountable, number one. It also taught me discipline. You know, it takes discipline to get up every morning and pick up a weight and command the attention of a weight with your body. To be able to carve my frame as a Black woman with weights, I feel like that's something that is definitely necessary for women of color. You know, after a while doing so much cardio, you know, it takes away our frame, our shape. You know, whereas we're able to hold our shape and our frame by picking up weights. Also, my mentality, it changed. I got so much more confident in myself because I was able to achieve a goal that I set out to do. Like I said, I never was a student athlete, so I would start things and wouldn't finish. But this was something I was determined to finish. And in 2017, I stepped on stage for my first show ever, and I accomplished the goal that I set out to do.
So before we asked about that, when you stepped on stage for the first time, how did the community treat you when they saw you went from obese to shredded? And because it's one thing to lose a little bit of weight, you know, to fit the dress or whatever, or some people are obese, even though they lose weight, they don't have really, what can I say? The body still isn't very athletic, if you know what I mean. It's just smaller. You were completely different. You went from obese to shredded. How did people, like, were they impressed? Were they, what went down?
So my family was proud of the fact that I stuck with something. My grandmother was a little disappointed because I could no longer eat her macaroni and cheese on a Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And then friends would think like, oh, you look sick. You know, you lost a drastic amount of weight. That's what they think. Oh, is she on drugs, or is she on, you know, what is it? You know, and no, you know, when people take the time to actually work on their health, we all pretty much look toned if we go in the route that I took. But most people don't know what they look like until they lose the weight.
So first show 2017, walk us through it.
IMBF, which was in Savannah, Georgia. They had women's bodybuilding at the time. I took first in the overall.
Okay.
I could have got my natural pro card if we had 2 more women, because there was only 3 of us. You had to have 5, so I missed it. And then my coach at the time was just like, hey, I think you should do the NPC. I think that you would fit in very, very well. I was so nervous. My first ever NPC show was the Lee Haney Games. I took 4th in that show. But what I learned was with that coach at the time was we knew how to cut the fat, but we didn't know how to maintain the muscle at the same time. And, that's a science in itself.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So from there, fast forward to 2018, I competed in a couple of more shows after that, but I never got less than top 5 in any show that I've ever competed in, ever. Thank God. But 2018, I took overall at the Lee Haney Games there in Atlanta. Yeah. And I did nationals in 2019, junior nationals in Chicago, and I got my pro card. And then it was on from there, man.
And how great is Lee Haney, by the way?
Lee Haney's amazing. He's so fun. His whole family is just amazing. You see them at the show. They all work as a unit. They all have that common goal, and that's to make sure that Lee Haney's message is spread across the world. And that's something amazing to see a family do together,
Yeah, great.
He's got to be one of the best Mr. Olympia. Well, did you follow bodybuilding before? Do you know Ronnie Coleman, Lee Haney, Dorian Yates? Do you know these names?
I started in 2017 when I really wanted to know what it was. Pumping Iron, the women, Pumping Iron 2. Carla Dunlap, I fell in love with her. And even
Aren't you happy? When you saw that movie, what were you? And you saw the judges trolling and you falling asleep and saying what women should look like and not look like. And what was your reaction? Because when I saw JB, first you, JB, because JB's followed women's bodybuilding before you and me were born, Christina. JB, when you first saw Pumping Iron 2, the women, what was your reaction?
Well, thought, okay, it's late 70s movie, and just get it into it and so okay, at least Beth Francis is in there, and and Carla Dunlap, and and I thought it's I thought it like it was a little bit of side genre bodybuilding and so on, like it was in all series. I know it from the TV, but it was I thought that there's this stereotype were fulfilled in that movie, and then later I had to research about the director and so on, and say okay, well, it was good, but I was excited about the camera work, so it was nice.
I thought it was shocking in a way. I knew how it was, but it was, for me, it was shocking, and it was just shocking. What was your reaction?
So I paid attention the most to, I would have to say, Rachel McClesh, number 1. She was the top dog there. Yeah. So to see her attitude and her movements and the confidence that she carried. Also, just to see how humble Beth Francis was. I mean, this lady came in and changed the game. They never seen nothing like her before, So she's up there in all her glory, no matter how people looked at her. That to me was like inspiring. No matter where she comes from, a totally different world in powerlifting. And then to come over into women's bodybuilding with all that muscle. And then for her to have I think her coaches were more upset that she lost than she was. She's just like, where the Oreo cookies at? That was her thought process. To see someone like that, it lets you know that, okay, hey, this isn't the end all be all because you don't place top at a show. There's more shows. Like, figure out what you need to work on, and then you can do better. With Carla Dunlap, though, man, she's like my favorite. She flowed like water on stage. She's just amazing to see. And even though she didn't have as much muscle, I feel like she had the total package from the posing to, you know, the muscle that she did have in her development and separation, and then just her overall stage presence.
Do you think she would have, if you're a judge and she goes mano versus mano, as we say, versus Bev Francis, and you can't be like, oh, I like her better because for whatever reason, who would win if you're the judge, and why?
Are we talking about Olympia back then in 1983, or are we talking about Olympia in 2022?
Olympia in 2022.
You know, Bev is gonna win. I mean, it's the size, the muscularity, the separation, the whole nine. But I also do think that Carla would still be in the top 5. I really do.
So you watched the movie, okay? What more? What else inspired you then? When you watched, you started following women's bodybuilding more then, or?
Laura Craval.
Oh, yeah.
She's one that I really like the most too. I wish that she would have got a lot of higher placing in some of the shows that she did. Who else? I watched so many of them. Heather Foster. I actually got to speak with Heather Foster and do an interview with her. That lady got some of the prettiest skin and muscle development I've ever seen. Yep. Like, just to see her pictures that Reg Bradford took of her back in the day in those photo shoots. Yep, she just looked unreal. It was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, she looked like a statue.
I'm a great fan of her. Yeah. And I know her personally, and she's a so kind person. Great.
Yeah. Very encouraging, very uplifting.
So you won your pro card where and when?
Junior Nationals in 2019 in Chicago.
Yeah. And then what happened after that? Where was your first pro show?
My first pro show was in Atlanta, Georgia during COVID-19, but it was the Chicago Pro in Atlanta.
How did that go?
I took third place.
And that's where that's where we started noticing Christina Bryant.
Yeah.
Because it was a huge show, I believe.
Very big.
It was, I think it was over 20, close to 30. How many athletes did it?
I think in our class alone, it was 31 women.
Guys at home. In women's bodybuilding, sadly, during this COVID epidemic, we have had shows with 5 and 6 athletes, and you don't really, and 4 of them were off. So it is what it is. But in women's physique there during COVID, 30 athletes, and you made top 3 in your debut. How much, what can you say, self-belief did you get? How did that make you feel? Third in 30 athletes in your debut.
That I stressed myself over some of the stupidest stuff I ever could have stressed myself over in a prep. Okay. And I should have believed in myself a lot more than what I did at the time. You know, COVID shut down the gyms here in the United States and other places around the world. So I was training in a friend's garage for a long time before the gym opened back up. And, you know, it put a damper on my spirit. You know, shows planned and they cancel them, and then they're back on again, or they move them. You know, that's a lot on a person's mental. But that show proved to me that I belong on a pro stage and I belong up there in the top.
And the next show, which show did you get second place? I think it was. That was in 2021, wasn't it?
No. So here's how it went, because you guys saw how it went down in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I was in the middle the entire time, and then things shifted around at the night show. That's when I got third.
Who won?
Bayan.
Olivia Bayan, and who was second?
Yes. Heather Grace. Heather Grace.
And JB, let me tell you about that show, bro. I remember Heather Grace was out in the parking lot in third call out, and some what's it called, Chris Angel magician, all of a sudden she was placed in this, I don't want to use the word, but this was something, I don't know what was going on.
We spoke about that.
It was chaos. She went from second or third call out to place second with an amazing back, obviously. She had the grace. Wow, what an incredible back. But could you believe it? Could you believe what you saw, Chris? Can you believe it? Because you thought you were in the fight to win, and people after prejudging was said, well, some had Olivia, some have you, but it was a 2-woman race, and all of a sudden they have you in third with a girl in second call out taking your spot. What went through your mind there?
So after the dust settled, I'm gonna tell you guys, after the show, I wasn't upset because I was in the top. I'm sitting outside eating my, my Chex Mix and excited. But when I sat down and I looked at the pictures and the comparisons, because that's what you have to wait on. The comparisons. Heather was harder. Her conditioning was a lot harder, So it is what it is at the end of the day. You learn from it. I think that when it comes to my conditioning, I can't do a fast prep because I have lost so much weight. If I move too fast, I'll have extra skin, and that extra skin will be hard to fill out when it's time to fill me up and carb me up for a show.
So after that, what happened after that third place?
The following year, 2021, I did Omaha Pro. I took 5th there, but the difference in weight is what stood out the most to me. I was 137 pounds in Atlanta. I stepped on stage in Omaha at 151 pounds.
Guys, now we're getting where we're going with this. Obviously, all the things, but this is okay. So you gained 14 pounds of stage muscle in less than a year, huh?
Yes.
But just training and eating more, or
do what now?
On just training and eating more, or was it like a goal? I want to put on more size, or just happened naturally?
My coach at the time, I was begging. I was like, I want to do women's bodybuilding. Make me big.
Okay.
So
yeah, good.
We did, and we did that, but we didn't know for sure if I could stand up there and go against, of course, Andrea or with Margie and women like that. They have some pretty seasoned muscle, and I stood next to Andrea in person. And in pictures, it doesn't do any justice on how large this woman's shoulders are. She's a big girl. So I know it's not all about the biggest. You got to have shape, size, symmetry, and condition. And I feel like I've gotten to that level now. I still feel like I have more room to become more developed, but slowly I'm reaching that goal of where I want to be.
So each time me and JB talk to Andrea Shaw on our channel, we say, so who's gonna be the standout in 2022 and of new girls? And she always says, well, I've been searching in the physique class, and it's going to be Christina Bryant. So
I'm humbled by those words.
And for people, so what's the plans for 2022?
Women's bodybuilding.
So say that one more time. In what class?
Women's bodybuilding, female bodybuilding.
So it's happening then, correct?
Yes, it's happening.
Yeah. So how much do you weigh right now? Because we can see by the face you're in good shape.
Yes, currently I am 168 pounds.
Wow.
And you're only 5'1", very short, by the way. So you're only 5'1".
Well, one-ish.
Yeah. 168 pounds in good condition, like in good off-season condition.
Yes. My coach that I'm with now, we made it a point to make sure that I didn't get off the bandwagon. Because again, the bigger I get, the skin expands, and we don't want to be too far off the mark with conditioning. You got to stay tight.
Of course, if you used to be obese, you can't go too much up and down because the skin will look not as thin or So the coach you are with now, do you have a name for us or?
Yes, Blue Taylor.
Blue Taylor, yes, I've seen him on some shows with. Is it with Boston Lloyd? I think he's the shorter, isn't he? Blue Taylor. Yeah, he does them shows with Boston Lloyd, and I've seen him. Yeah. So why did you go with Blue Taylor?
Overall, his communication he's a stand-up guy. Also, with the goal that I was trying to achieve, it wasn't something that he was just trying to do so fast. He was just like, your health is number one. And that's what we're going to make sure that you're okay. Number two, let's see what we can do with the time frame that we have when you started with me on how much mass you can put on and still maintain some separation in the off season. And I feel like we did that. We're on the same page with everything. You know, I check in every Wednesday, every Saturday. If it's something that I need, he's available 24 hours a day. Stand up guy.
And we talk to a lot of different athletes. They say that their coach don't answer them. Sometimes they can go a week without even answering them, or too short answers, or just how important is it to have a coach that actually answers on time and quick and to the point?
It's very important. The only reason I say that is because we all have lives outside of bodybuilding, and we all have other schedules that we have to follow. So when you reach out, you want to be able to get communication back within a time frame that's reasonable, you know, so you can continue on with your day. It's just what it is. It's just common courtesy and respect.
So now we're moving into women's bodybuilding at the Linda Murray show.
Yes, that's the goal.
What's the date?
July the 16th, 4 days before my birthday. So the overall goal is this. The overall goal is to take number one at this show and also obtain my bachelor's degree in healthcare administration within the same month. That's the goal. When
is your birthday, you said?
July 20th.
Oh, so that means my birthday is the 18th of July.
My cancer brother.
There we go. There you go. There's a lot of problems with us, the cancers. But anyway, so the point is, yes. Okay, wow. So this is going to be a really big summer for you then.
Yes.
Both off stage and on stage, if you know what I mean.
Correct.
Great.
This is big. This is big. This is big. This is also with women's bodybuilding now trying to get more in the mainstream. It's important to have representative as yourself, you know what I mean, running from obese to a female bodybuilder, full-time educated woman. That doesn't mean that you work more than anyone just because you have the education, but it's a very good role model then to say.
Yes.
Is that something that's important for you?
It is. It really is. You know, so many people that look up to us in this sport. And I just want them to be able to say, dang, I seen Christina, you know, she did this to get to this. If she can do that, I can do that, you know. You can push forward. I get so many messages from so many women all over the world who, when they see me get up in the morning and I post a motivational message at 4:00 in the morning, they're like, because of you, I got up and went to the gym. Or because of you, I made sure that I stayed on point with my meals for the week, you know. Just things like that. It lets you know that you're on the right path. You're doing something right.
That's true.
Before some women's bodybuilding questions, what do you do as a hobby? What's your hobby outside of women's bodybuilding and work? Is this something that you're passionate about?
Yes. So I do like hiking and traveling, but I'm also a part of a little girl's life here in my local town. I was a part of a mentorship program, but because of my schedule being so crazy, I couldn't commit fully to them. So I only pick times when I can be with her. And her name is Ariana. She just started high school, and that little girl motivates me more than anything. You know, 4.0 GPA, like she's just a great little girl. So to be able to be a part of her life as a positive role model for her, as an outlet and somebody she could talk to, that's something that's near and dear to me. I really like that a lot.
Yeah. Because you don't have any own kids and things like this, not right now, or?
No. And I'm the only child, so there's no brothers and sisters.
Oh, there's nothing there.
Just my parents. And a lot of people, I think so my mother got diagnosed with breast cancer at the end of December of 2021. So that kind of changed things and put life in perspective for me of like, okay, you know, thank God she made it through, but you got other people depending on you.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure while they're here on this earth, they see you at your best.
Some women's bodybuilding questions. Who was closest to Andrea Shaw? Helle Trevino or Margie V at last Olympia?
I'm gonna say Helle Trevino. I look at the backside, the glutes. Margie looked damn good this year. She did. She brought her conditioning way up. But her glutes on Trevino, she was there. Her conditioning was way better this year. It's the best I've ever seen Helle get on the stage and look, you know. She looked very feminine, very conditioned. Just overall, she looked really good. But Andrea, I mean, man, and not just saying that because she's one of my favorites or one of my friends, but it's gonna be a long time before somebody beats her on the stage. A long time.
Hey, don't say that. You have to be more confident in yourself. You can't say that.
Oh, I'm confident within me, but as a newbie coming up against her and up under her, I'm gonna give the queen what her just due.
I say she's gonna win 7 Olympias in a row. JB, how many do you say?
8.
8. That's how we rate her. So we're fanboys here. But anyway, what's more important in women's bodybuilding? You can only choose one: size and condition, or shape and femininity.
Can I add a third to that if I pick?
No, you cannot add anything. That's your options. Now we're interested to see what you say.
I'm gonna say shape and femininity.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay. Who would win, Linda Murray or Iris Kyle in peak against each other?
If we're going off of muscle and conditioning, Iris. Femininity and shape, Linda.
So I'm asking who would win.
You got 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Okay, Iris.
Yeah. Shanique Grant or Sarah Viegas?
Three, two.
No, JB. Let her think a little bit because that's hard.
Yeah.
If I had to go with shape and femininity, Shanique.
So you would say she would win?
Yeah. That shape is God-given. It's hard to beat God-given.
Last question. Let's find the women's physique. That question. Are the women's physique athletes too close in size to women's bodybuilding? Or are the women's physique too similar to women's bodybuilding, in your opinion?
Last year, I think they got it kind of contained. But years before that, like when I did my pro show, we was borderline women's bodybuilding now. That conditioning on some of the women, I was like, ooh. You know, it was borderline.
Thank you for coming on. We were happy that we finally have you on because you are such a diva. So you always say yes and then you don't know.
Hopefully not the last time.
Finally, we have you on. I think it's great that I hope a lot of people watch this channel. So I hope you guys see that it's because sometimes when you just see the Instagram picture, obese to in shape, you don't really know. It doesn't show everything. But now that we get to know you better, it's an inspiring story. Yeah. It's but you're the role model in you, the work ethic, the physique. This is what we call the total package. So we're proud to have you on, and we can't wait. But one thing, this prep, we need to see more training videos and updates and Instagram selfies and motivational. You have to speak on your. What are you going to do for us this prep, Christina?
I'm going to try to do more of that. I'm going to tell you guys, with my schedule being like it is, I go in the gym, get it done, and on to the next. But I'll try to do more of that. And I think a lot of people don't understand I train alone. So trying to find somebody to record and do all that. It takes too much out of my set. So I would rather get my work done than worry about recording. But I can promise you some more stuff, guys.
I'm for hire.
Say
No problem.
Yeah. Say something, because we see the time is running out there. Say something to the fans. Say something last to the fans from your heart.
Thank you, everybody, for all the support that I do get. I hope that I'm inspiring and I'm a positive light within the sport of women's bodybuilding and overall bodybuilding in general. Thank you for the love I always get.
And JB,
yeah.
We are
definitely out.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. It's Christina Bryant. You're here with me on the Female Bodybuilding channel. Click the link and subscribe.